on mute. We're doing no fancy intro, no fancy outro. And as you can tell, I usually have myself on mute during my intros, and we're not doing one today. This Q&A or AMA, we only do it once a year. That's why these are such memorable moments, is because we only do it once a year. But today's extra special because not only will I be answering your questions, but I'm going to be giving out 2 access passes to tomorrow's members only Patreon live event where you can speak with a handful of like-minded people, sharing your experiences, playing difficult UFO trivia games, and winning merch. Merch that you're actually not even seeing here, but like brand new stuff that I'm so excited to give out. The word of the day today, in order for you to get yourself into the first drawing, as we'll be doing 2 drawings today, and this show will only run for maybe 45 minutes or so. We'll play that by ear. But the word of the day is puck. I'm going to start collecting those now and write in hashtag puck in the live chat if and only if you are watching this live, not in the comments in the video section, but in the live chat. Okay. Put in hashtag puck as you're seeing it here because, Puck the Puck Wedgie is our mascot. For those that didn't know, for all of my new people coming in, they're like, who's that little cute little plushie in the background? That's Puck the Puck Wedgie, the best co-host who always has great listening ears. That's why they're so big. And he's always smiling. He's always happy to cover these topics. He only has to ever use the restroom when we're doing interviews. He's a little bit shy. But for all the other shows, he's here. Now, people have asked me, Christina, why is he no longer sitting on your microphone? And I will actually tell you that. So, because this is an AMA, right? I used to have my cords wrapped up like this, and he could easily lean back and not fall. But now that I have changed how poopy my cords look, it's more prominent that Puck the Puck Wedgie will fall and break some bones, which is really sad, right? So we have him sitting right here on the mixer instead, always there, but just in the background. I'm so glad to see people putting in their hashtag puck. We will do that drawing probably at the 10-minute mark, I feel is a good time. AJ Raffles, thank you so much for the 10 pounds. It says, this is actually so funny. It's such a dad joke. At last, I found a book on anti-gravity. I can't put it down. Thank you so much. That's hilarious. And Brian, it says, what is your dream RV? What brands do you like? And thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. And this is actually a great question. And even put hashtag pucks. You did all those things in once, which is so smart. So I've looked at a bunch of different things and I told my members this on Patreon as I do get behind the scenes and even like the inside of my mind as well. And everyone else is kind of the first to know. But for those that have been following this channel for some time, I would say the last like year and a half, I've told you I'm going to be getting an RV. I'm going to be traveling the US and hitting all the UFO hotspots and paranormal hotspots, documenting it and taking you on the journey with me. Inflation happens and plans have changed. So what's going to be going on, instead of purchasing an RV and having my name on the contract, instead I'll be renting them. This way I can focus more on the proper equipment, invest in better equipment, and then documenting that with a rented RV, and which in many ways it brings down a lot of stress because anyone that's had an RV or like even seen videos on how to maintain them, it's a lot of work. It's actually pretty crazy on how much they break down, how high the insurance is, and all of these different very expensive factors. So renting is kind of being the best bet right now. So right now, so with that being said, I don't have a favorite brand because I'll take almost anything that will fit the needs that I need for the season, for holding the equipment, and a few other people as well, including Puck. Puck goes everywhere with me, always in my pocket, even to the grocery store because he's like Ratatouille. Okay, he knows how to cook and he's really good at it too. But let's see what questions you guys have. Don't forget to put in hashtag puck. Let me actually put that in there in the chat. Yeah, put in hashtag puck in order to get access to the live event for tomorrow. That will be at 11 a.m. PST. And it's kind of hard to find your questions. So I would recommend putting them in all caps, but super chats will be the easiest to see. But I'm scrolling through to see your questions here. Yeah, Cindy, renting's a smart idea. It took a long time. It took a lot of I had to really swallow my pride, actually. But yes, renting overall is just a more financially better idea. And if it breaks down, I can just give it back to the company that I rented from versus having to get it checked. Because there's only a handful of mechanics that are able to fix RVs to very specific extents compared to your average car, right? So that's pretty exciting. Even Tyler says renting sounds like a really great idea, all things considered. Yes. Yes, and less maintenance, no worries. Great to see everyone putting in puck. As I said at the 10-minute mark, we will be doing that drawing. And if you don't win that one, don't worry, we'll be doing a second one as well. So, woo, Paranormal Pixie became a member on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting that, for supporting me and the channel. Yeah, no monthly payment, says Dickie. Yes, you're only paying for mileage, gas, and then renting it for a certain period of time, which overall is just cheaper, right? Oh, okay, Android. What is your favorite season and why? Fall. Fall. Okay, and I'm being that girl with the cups of coffee and the big scarves and the beanies and the boots. That's me. It's me in many ways, except all my boots are like rain boots and they're so ugly, but they're very comfortable. And beanies, I love wearing beanies at all times. If I could wear them in the summer, I would because the secret is I don't have to wash my hair. But don't tell anybody though. Okay? That's between you and me, Android. Okay, Ricardo says, "Have you ever seen a shadow person?" I haven't told this story that often, but yes. And I'm gonna put this up on screen here. Don't forget to put in hashtag puck in the live chat if and only if you're watching this live. So I'll tell you the story, but I'll give you an abridged version. It was my senior year in high school, and it was the witching hour. It was 3 a.m. Something woke me up. I don't really know what it was. And then I saw this shadow figure, this thing walk right into my door frame, like walking through the door, looked right at me. The eyes were just shining red, and then immediately went from the door frame right next to me, whispered in the side of my ear. And I have no idea what the entity said, but I could feel the temperature change. I was mortified. I had no idea how to handle the situation. I didn't learn anything about it. I tried to scream with all of my might, and I wasn't able to. It was at the time it was very, very terrifying. And I ended up not sleeping after that forever. I have insomnia now. But in all honesty, I wasn't able to sleep. I went to school the next day and I didn't tell anybody because I didn't know how to even bring it up to people, especially those around me that didn't really care about the paranormal, about anything strange happening aside from, hey, did you pass, this class or did you write your paper and things like this. And funny enough, I actually forgot that experience for years until I started doing the shows here on YouTube and talking about experiences. And then it hit me. I said, oh my gosh, I've actually had an experience with a shadow person. But it was so suppressed for a handful of years. It was kind of shocking, actually. So that's my experience with a shadow person. And I've stated this before, but both of my parents have also had very strange experiences as well that I didn't know about until the end of last year. Like, because I never asked them these questions, they were like, "Mi amor, you never asked me, so I never told you." And it's like pages of these very strange experiences. And if you'd like to hear those, let me know in the chat, and I'll share a few of them with you. But I know we have some more questions, so I will answer them. Um, I think Peace is asking me, when's my birthday? I will lay it down like this. Lou Elizondo and I share the same birthday. Now you know. Jessica says, then only use it. Oh, that's actually, never mind. This is all caps, but thank you. Yes, perfect. Ooh, okay, John. This is an interesting question. What did you learn from Diana Pasulka? I had her on the show, gosh, I want to say 2 years ago now. Time really flies, really, really does. And so I have to refresh my memory. but she's a very significant, a very important UFO researcher. And what I like about her work in particular is the religious aspect to it. I've always had an interest in religious studies. Originally, I actually wanted to get a degree in religious studies, but my university didn't offer that as something to get a degree in. So I ended up getting it in communication and a minor in business. But she has a background in Catholicism and looking into these, holy scriptures and things like that to see where the connection is between religion and aliens and UFOs. So I think it's not really what I learned from her from like a one sentence thing, but it was looking at it from a more broader perspective of there is some kind of connection there, and maybe, just maybe, it's the labels through cultures, through perspectives, through religions that gets us confused and gets the topic convoluted, that we think that we're seeing different things when in reality we might be seeing one of the same thing, but it's these titles and labels that are getting us very confused and very divided as well. So that's something that I definitely learned from her, along with Paul Thigpen as well, who has written books on things very similar to Diana about Catholicism and UFOs as well. Cindy asking some serious questions. Have you test drove the big RV? Yes, I have. And it's a it's a learning curve. It really is. It's kind of scary actually. So we just hit our 10-minute mark. We have 152 people watching this live. If you're enjoying this AMA live stream that we only do once a year, hit that like button right down below. I will give you guys a few more moments to put in hashtag puck in the live chat in order to get an access pass to tomorrow's live event that is for Patreon members only, where you can share your experiences, play UFO trivia games, and win merch as well. Maybe a cup, maybe this super sick hat, maybe a few other things that I don't have on my desk right now. We won't know until tomorrow. So I'll give everyone just a few more moments. Should I count down to 10, everybody? Let's do it together. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go ahead and do this drawing for our first entry. Here we go. Oh, I'm in it. Well, obviously I won't win it. Let's see. Diego, congratulations. You just won yourself a pass for tomorrow. Here's what I need from you. How do I make this stop? Oh, no, sorry. Okay. What I need from you is an email so I can just send you that link. And my email is in the description box below, and just say, hey, I won for today's stream. And I'll pass that on over to you. Pretty easy stuff, right? Pretty simple. And if you can't find my email down below, it's Christina@strangeparadigms.com. Easy, right? Now I'm going to make another one. And this time, the word, actually, I won't tell you just yet, because I want to show it on screen so everyone can see it before they start typing it in. The next drawing we'll do in the next 20 minutes feels appropriate. And that word is ramen. For all of my diehard fans, you know how much I love ramen. Now, I haven't really been mentioning it recently, except with Jimmy, because Jimmy always has to prepare with ramen every Thursday for every Mysteries with the History show. But now you know, for all of my newbies, it's my favorite food right next to dumplings. I love dumplings. Let me ask you this. What is your favorite food? Out of all the foods out there, which one's your favorite? Seth, thank you so much for being a YouTube member as well. SoCal, thank you for the 4.99 super chat. It says gas prices. I know, but let me say this. I want to say like the last like 2 months, from what I've seen, the prices have gone down a little bit. Just just putting that out there. Brian, thank you again for the 4.99. It says, were you aware that your fans idolize? No, I didn't know that. And I don't think it's a good idea because I'm just so boring and normal. And If someone were to approach me at the grocery store, I'm sprinting. I'm running as fast as I can because I'm an introvert. And it might seem like, "Oh, Christina, but, like, you're so out there and you're so nice on camera." No, in real life, I have a very short social battery, and I am nervous to get approached by people like like a little puppy. That's me. You guys are doing a lot faster on your entries with 41 entries. This will be up for the next 20 minutes, and this will be the last opportunity for anyone to get the pass for tomorrow. So, really cross your fingers for this one. If you have questions for today, place them in all caps. It's a lot easier to see, but also super chats as well. They'll come up first for me. And then it says, um, Super says, "What were you doing during 9/11?" I was just barely born, just like barely. So nothing except maybe like sleeping and drinking milk. It's probably about it. Oh, Android. See, Android here is a diehard fan. He says there was a shadow person on Christina's live stream twice, and you were always the one to point that out. And that was last year. That was a year ago. I vaguely remember not it happening, but seeing the comments of like, "Dude, did you see that?" And I'm thinking, what did you guys see that I didn't see? And I have my contacts in. I have my glasses on, and I'm not seeing it. Jonacide asks, "Which country would you like to visit for investigating the paranormal?" Okay. Okay, Jonacide. This is a great question. It would probably have to be the Philippines. The Philippines, maybe even Indonesia, because from my understanding and my investigations, which aren't as strong as my UFO investigations, but these countries seem to be one of the most haunted locations in the world. It's so insane, and the legends there are some of the scariest legends you could come across. Out of everything on the planet, the Philippines and Indonesia, honestly, stay away. Like, they are scary stuff. The Manananggal or the Manananggal, as they pronounce it, freaky. I did a whole show on it, gosh, 2 months ago, and for those that don't know what it is, it's this vampire type woman that can separate her torso from her lower legs. She flies around, she has a proboscis-like tongue, and she enjoys eating and drinking the blood of unborn fetuses. Yeah, and phlegm. Just kinda disgusting. Like, if you're, like, super sick, take your phlegm too. I in none of my research in mythology or any of these legends have I come across a creature that scary. And the people are very scared to talk about them. Like that it's a very scary creature, very much like the skinwalker and how the Native Americans also do not want to address that entity because they believe that if you talk about it, you will attract it and it will come to you. No, thank you. But also come for a cup of tea, and I'll ask you some interview questions and maybe take a few selfies with you if that's okay with you guys, right? I would probably do that as well. Dicky says, "Have you ever been a sleepwalker?" Do you know if you're a sleepwalker? That's the question. Like, do you know if you're sleepwalking? Usually it's your spouse, your partner, your roommate who tells you these things, or if you just find yourself in a very weird part of your house. But I don't think I'm a sleepwalker, but I could be wrong. Now you're making me second guess myself, Dicky. I don't think so, though. I don't. Rose, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says, "Have you heard anything further about the hearings or future predictions about what's going to be discussed? You and I are in the dark together. I don't have cool inside people that tell me these things. But there are rumors that Lou Elizondo will be speaking at the hearing. I do have high expectations for that. But aside from that person, I don't know or I can't assume, or I can't jump off any rumors from anybody else because I don't know. I will say, 'cause people ask me, Christina, you're one of the very few UFO researchers that have been covering the Nazca mummies that have been presented by Jaime Maussan. Is there going to be more information? Yes. So he reached out to me and he said that there's going to be another hearing this Saturday. I plan on streaming it on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, interested in seeing the latest data, it is going to be dubbed by Jaime's team in English. So subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss it. Again, it's my goal to stream it, but we'll be playing that one by ear as well. Let's see. Let's see. What other questions? I feel like I'm behind. Um, Let's see. Let's see. Jam says, "Have you ever interviewed Linda Moulton Howe?" Not yet. Not yet, but I'd like to. Okay, let's see. Making me nervous, like trying to read as fast as I can. Um, Super crazy movie geek. I love that name. Do you think there is a connection between Bigfoot and the UFO phenomena? Yes. Yes, I do. And let me explain why. There has been research and investigations by witnesses, mainly in the United States, where people have encountered a Bigfoot, and then in the sky there's a UFO sighting. There's also been rumors, and I'm kind of putting that in all caps, with certain researchers within very specific UFO paranormal books where they state that there's this belief that maybe Bigfoot is this kind of slave or this kind of worker for these extraterrestrials. It's a really interesting thought. I'd like to see the connection on how that's possible or why that might be. But from my own research, there definitely is a connection between UFOs and the paranormal, and cryptids are involved in this as well. Now, for Bigfoot specifically, I think there is something to it, but there hasn't been enough research, enough sightings of the two being seen at the same time, but there have been a handful. So that's my answer for that one. And if you have any questions, place them in all caps. It's a lot easier for me to see, but also super chats will also be much easier. John, thank you for the 777. That's awesome. Super chat. It says, keep your eyes on the skies and then Spock hands. Heck yes. I don't do this part, but I could start. That'd be super cool. I end every single show with keep your eyes on the skies. Well, like this. And remember, keep your eyes on the skies. How many of you say that with me? I asked this yesterday with Jimmy when I do my intro for Mysteries with a History that never ever changes since I don't know the last like 2 years. It's the same intro, and I wanted to ask you how many of you guys say it with me. But for my outro, how many of you? I think it's so much fun. I always enjoy watching certain TV shows or maybe even other like YouTubers. And when they say like this one thing over and over again, I'm like, I wanna say that with you because it's just so darn catchy. And so, Cal, I'm so glad that you put hashtag puck, but actually, this is from like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. The new word is hashtag ramen as we're seeing it on screen, and we have 59 entries. Nice. Let's see. More questions because we only do this once a year. So if you have questions, this is the time to do it. We don't do this every day. But just feel like I'm just behind catching up with you guys. 'Cause I wanna give everybody a chance. So place your questions in all caps. It's a lot easier to see. That's funny, Ricardo. Good one. Laura says, "Ramen is so yummy, but give me green chili chicken enchiladas." I love those, but they're, like, not easy to make. I have attempted to make enchiladas. I've attempted to make lasagna, and those things, as Cecil Webb has said, one of my amazing mods, you gotta babysit it. You have to, because it's just between in that little level of delicious and burnt. But enchiladas are good, and tamales or tamales, also delicious. Love those 2, of, like, all flavors. Dicky says, "Do you have a fear of big crowds?" Yes. I just prefer not to be in them unless, like, I really, really have to, but I don't, so I just avoid them. I'm not a party person. I don't like, festivals or, like, anything that involves a lot of people. It's very overwhelming to me unless I'm on a mission. Like, as if I have something to do or to meet a certain person or to, like, hang out with the 1 or 2 friends, then, like, maybe, but if it's just to go just to enjoy the ambiance, my enjoying of ambiance is wrapping myself in a blanket, sitting on the couch, and probably watching, cat videos, but right now, what's really been interesting me, and I told myself I was never gonna be this person, but it's ASMR videos, and I'm not saying the not those are weird, but it's these, like, where people are just walking in a small town, anywhere in the world, and they're just literally just that, like, they're just walking into town, walking down these roads, not saying anything, and just allowing me to enjoy the vista, to enjoy the view. I really have come to enjoy those videos very, very much, but when they start off the show with like, "Oh my gosh, guys, I'm super obsessed with this new drink," no. Instantly on to the next video. That's not relaxing to me. Also, history videos. I really like history documentaries. I like those a lot too. They're so good and so also relaxing. I like those. What's your favorite stuff to watch when you're in the mood to relax? Oh, empanadas, Val, yes. So good. Have you ever tried chocolate empanadas? But the Argentinian ones. Argentinian? I'm not a huge fan of Colombian or Venezuelan, which I'm Venezuelan, but they're just so doughy and deep fried. But Argentinian empanadas? Ooh, I could get fat off of those. So good. And their chocolate ones, hits every time. Let's see. I'm gonna keep this up because I don't wanna have myself in full screen the whole time. But, place your questions in all caps. Oh, Raphael says, "Do you think Shadow Person could be family? Coco movie? Day of the Dead tradition?" Ooh, ooh. There have been a lot of stories, and, one of the great researchers to look at who I've had on the show multiple times is Mike Ricksecker. Love him. He's actually talked about this, and I think that there is a level of validity. Let me give you a personal story on this one. As I had stated a little bit earlier, my father and mother have had very strange experiences, throughout their life with the paranormal and even UFOs. Kinda crazy, I know. But he told me this one story, and I'm sharing this with you with all confidence, so don't be sharing it with nobody. He had told me last year, the end of last year, for the first time, he says he had told me hold on, let me back this up because this is the connection between both my parents. When my parents just got married and they were sharing the same bed, almost every single night, my mom would see someone at the foot of her bed or their bed, holding a cane, wearing a hat, but it wasn't the hat man because it didn't feel ominous. It didn't feel scary. And every single night, this entity would just stare at her. She never really felt fear. She's not really scared of these kinds of things, and it would happen all the time. During the same time frame, my father was looking into his genealogy tree. He's always had an interest in, like, where he came from, where his family comes from, and during this same period when he's doing research on his family, she is seeing these very strange things at night. Later on, my parents are next to each other on the couch. They're going through the photo album of his family, which is a very big family, by the way, and she's going through the book and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's the person that I'm seeing in this family book, this family photo album." My father says, "That's my dad." Well, in this case, my grandfather, right? Christina's grandfather, who had passed away when my dad was 11. And She ended up telling my father, "Stop looking at your genealogy, it's not important, I don't want you to look at it," for whatever reason. He stops, and then the sightings that she had every single night of this shadow entity with the cane and a hat stopped showing up. That's the story I have for you on that one, and I can say with vigor, con gusto, it just sounds better. My parents would never lie to me. They're not liars. They tell you things how they are, both of them. And when they told me the story, neither of them knew that they told me the story. I connected the pieces together. They've been divorced for decades at this point. But there's this connection between the two, and it's very, very interesting. So could shadow people be your loved ones? I think sometimes. Sometimes they might be. Hopefully that answered your question. Seth says, and thank you for being a YouTube member. It says, when you get the RV, do you think you'll be doing a show at Skinwalker Ranch? I'd like to. I have been given an invitation to go, and so I would like to act on that. That'd be very cool. Let's see, let's see. Okay, Super says, how many languages do you speak? I speak two, English and Spanish. Unfortunately, I took Mandarin for 6 years, and I know almost nothing. Almost nothing, and I took it diligently for 6 years. Private classes, Chinese schools, learning them in, like, Buddhist temples as well. You name it, I've tried it, and I just haven't been able to really grasp the language, but if someone speaks very slowly to me in Mandarin, I can get, like, the basics of it. My father has also learned Mandarin for that many years, and he doesn't know anything either except for English and Spanish, and my mom knows English, Spanish, Portuguese, and a little bit of French. So, pretty cool stuff. I'm gonna give people some more time to put in hashtag ramen for the next, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes. So to get that second pass for tomorrow's event. Cindy says, "Will you investigate haunted sites live?" That would be so cool. But live, I'd like to. I think at some point I would really enjoy to do something like that because you'd really feel like you're in it, right? Rose, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says, "What do you think about ghosts? Uh, what do you think about ghosts and aliens? Or are aliens? The came entity could be an alien." Okay, I get what you mean. I get it. Yes. Yes. This is where I'm bringing up the last question about Diana Pasulka and UFOs and religion because it has to do with perspective and even the interdimensional aspect when we're looking at ghosts, ghost experiences or ghost investigations, sometimes you might be dealing with an entity that didn't originate on Earth or that is using some kind of technology that makes them interdimensional. And anything that isn't from planet Earth is an alien. This is the same thing that goes for angels and demons as well, which I know fluffs some feathers, but it is what it is. So there are instances where ghosts might not be your loved one, might not be great Uncle Fred, but in reality could be an entity that might be living in a different dimension, just right above or right below ours, maybe even sharing the same space as ours, possibly, but that aren't human. So they would be aliens. It's a kind of a vague answer, but there is something to it, and it is always something very exciting to contemplate, especially if you've ever had a paranormal experience of your own because you begin to think of all these things. Was it really a ghost or was it some kind of alien of some sort? I really enjoy thinking about that. Let's see. Um, okay. Balladodo. Have you ever made an astral travel? No. No, and I'm really sad because I've done a whole show on astral projection before. I've investigated it. I read books. I practice almost diligently, and I haven't been able to. I have this block, and let me explain. I've attempted, and it's where I begin to, like, lose my breath while I'm sleeping, and it causes me to panic of not being able to breathe, and then I wake up. Now, people have told me, "Oh, don't worry about it, you're still breathing." I've tried, and I haven't been able to get past that specific threshold. Now, I have lucid dreamed once, and that was the best time of my life. Why? Because, of course, I chose to fly everywhere, and that was, like, 2 years ago, and I haven't done since. But I do practice, I do try, and I'm not giving up just yet on that one. Okay, all work and low pay. Great question. What's your favorite theory as to what the UFOs are? Time travelers, aliens, etc. I don't want to play it safe, but I will. I can't place all of my eggs in one basket. Maybe we're dealing with a bunch of different things from different planets, different dimensions, maybe even time travelers. The time traveler theory is very recently accepted. It's not a recent theory per se, but it just seems like in the last year, 2 years, people are saying, "Oh my gosh, aliens are time travelers," and that's how they sound. That's I'm sorry. That's how they sound to me, and I think it's an interesting theory. I really do, but they can't all be, in my opinion. Because time, from our very limited understanding, time is very complicated. It's very complex. You're dealing with the grandfather paradox, butterfly paradox, all these different things. And while they might not actually be relevant, because we don't have a good grasp on time, from my understanding at this point, I don't think that everything that people are seeing that are actually UFOs or extraterrestrials are time travelers. But, the other theories, I think that they're all possible, and they might all be happening simultaneously. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Okay. Jam says, "What are your other, interests outside of the paranormal?" I'm like 50 minutes behind. Um, I really like cooking recently, and I gotta be in the mood for it, but if I find a good recipe online, Instagram is my friend on that one. I enjoy that as an interest or as a hobby, and, doing nothing. I also enjoy doing that as well, but I have been practicing Buddhism since I was 16, and that is an interest of mine that I like to do when I'm not working, which is kind of reading the things that have been said by the Buddha or by his disciples, and then practicing mindfulness. So that's my interest. It's just something I don't really share too often. Actually, like almost never. But okay, let me just state this. Meditation has really, really helped me to be better at speaking publicly. When I first started doing this show, I grew up with a speech impediment and with a stutter and speaking very quickly. Now, with practice, but also with meditation and being mindful, has helped me significantly to be better. Right here in this AMA, I am trying to be a little quick in order to get all of your questions in, but still giving sufficient answers. But I would say over the last year, um, my speech impediment rarely ever shows now. I don't have a stutter like I used to as a kid, which I found very embarrassing, and I always was very scared to share stories and, encounters that I would have in my day-to-day life with my friends, because that's something that always held me back, both in English and more prevalently in Spanish. Now it's not so bad. I've gotten older, I've just gotten used to it, that if I stutter, I just keep going. I just steamroll through it. I don't even think back. But I do feel embarrassed and I'll turn very red. But don't tell anybody, okay? Brian, thank you again for the 4.99. It says, "Any idea on a time frame for some of these road trips? Maybe do one here and one there since you're renting." I don't have a time frame. I know it's really poopy. I work 3 jobs, and then I do these shows here. I aim to do 3 shows a week here. So, things haven't really been panning out the way I've wanted to in the last year or so, but when I know, you'll know. That's, like, the best thing I can say about this. And Gary, thank you for the $10. It says, "Is it okay to eat bacon and eggs for dinner?" Asking for a friend named Dave Scott. Yes, breakfast for dinner is such a highlight, and you're an adult. You can do whatever you want. As soon as I moved out and I went to university, the first thing I did was have Oreos for dinner. That was also the last time I ever did that, and I now understand why my parents would tell me, "Mi amor, don't eat Oreos for dinner, it's really gonna mess you up." So I wouldn't, and then I did, and it ruined me for life, and I'll never be doing it again. But you're an adult, you make your own rules, you can do whatever you want, eat whatever you want. I don't care. Do you. Alright, I'll give you guys 5 more minutes to go ahead and put in your entries for hashtag ramen for our second and last drawing for today. And Android, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says, did you say earlier that you have insomnia that started after your shadow person? If so, do you think it has caused something medical by what it said? Luckily, the 3 I have seen never spoke to me, LOL. That's interesting. And I don't think so. I know, right? I don't think so just because my mind is busy with all the projects I have in mind, the work that I have to do, and that activates insomnia. But it did start after that encounter. But is there a connection? I didn't think about it until you said it, Android. I don't know. I'm gonna tell myself no, but I'm considering it. Mm. Oh, there we go. Make myself a little bigger. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Um, Dave says, "What's your favorite Canadian report you've checked out?" So I've covered a handful of Canadian UFO reports on Strangest News of the Week. Usually, but one of the more interesting ones is the Canadian Sky Project, where they have done investigations on UFOs and they're going to release that paperwork. They were supposed to release it in the fall, but I guess they won't release it until the summer of next year. And I'd like to see how they approached the topic and how they're going to investigate it. This is very significant because this is coming out after Arrow's report where in the latest report that was released in March, in that report, it said, "There's nothing going on with UFOs, they're explainable, and other foreign offices agree." This is a very significant sentence that was in the very first few pages of that last Arrow report, which is stating, to my understanding, that other countries will agree with the Arrow UFO office in the United States that UFOs are explainable. There's something interesting to see here, and if you fall out of line, there will be consequences. So with the Canadian Sky Project, I hope that they will not follow lead of Arrow, and it's gonna be interesting to see what they're going to write on, as Canada has had its fair share of UFO sightings that have been recorded and reported by their military. So I will keep an eye out for that, and when I know the report comes out, we'll know when the report comes out. John says, "Who else would you like to see at the November 13th hearing?" Ah, Robert Salas. I'd like to see him. I think he has a lot to bring to the table. He's written books, he's done, interviews, he's spoken to a lot of people, he's had his own experience with the Maelstrom Air Force Base in the 1960s. I'd like to see him there and see what he would have to say on the topic, and speaking under oath as well. Let's see. Gosh. I'm, like, turning so pink. Like, it's just a lot of really great questions from you guys. I really appreciate the very serious questions you guys are asking and being respectful as well. Thank you for that. So, Lua Elizondo was born on June 19th. Now you know. So him and I share the same birthday. Well, okay. Let me back it up. I was born on June 18th, but I know that if everyone remembers Elizondo's birthday, they'll remember mine. So I just say the 19th because it's like, when you're born just at that midnight level, right? And every year, this is a true story actually. Every single year, my mom gets my birthday wrong by telling me on the 19th, "Happy birthday, mi amor," and I'm like, "It was on the 18th." And she's like, "I'm so sorry." So, technically, it's the 18th, 19th blur, but I just said the 19th because it's just easier for everybody. Now you know. Let's see. Um, put your questions in all caps. But these are the easiest to read. Ricardo says, "What superpower would you choose?" Big fan here. Thank you for being a fan, and thank you so much for supporting the channel as well. My superpower would be like, I really wanna say flying. Like, I wanna fly so bad. I do not wanna read minds. Don't really want it. I mean, turning invisible is kinda cool, but then you have the whole clothes issue, right? That kinda sucks unless you're from The Incredibles and you can have your suit that's also turns clear. Probably do that. But flying would be so cool. I'd love that. But mind reading? No, keep your thoughts to yourself. I don't wanna know, and it's just so noisy in there. Pass. Gary says, "Do you like hot food?" I love all food. I don't discriminate. I love all food except pickles. I hate, and I know it's a strong word, but I hate pickles. I think that they're just so awful. Aside from that, I will try any food once, no problem, but if it has pickles in it, I will hesitate, but I might try it if I was told it was, like, really, really good. Okay, Oscar, great question. What time period in history fascinates you? Before I answer that, put in hashtag ramen in the live chat if and only if you're watching this live, and hit that like button right down below because we're actually coming to a close on this live stream. Um, and I'll be doing this drawing rather shortly. Okay, so what time period fascinates you? I I kind of like I kind of like the 1800s Japan right now. That's kind of where I'm fascinated with the samurai and the geisha and things like this, and they were, like, in their peak period during that time frame. Really interesting. Also, even China during the 1800s, I think it's kinda cool with how they managed their government and, they're dealing with their emperors and stuff. Pretty cool stuff. So I would probably go for that one because the 1800s in the US and the UK, not the most amazing. That's just me, though. So that's my answer to that one. All right, let's go ahead and do that drawing. I'll give you guys just a few more moments for this one to put in hashtag ramen. You know what? Let's get to 100 entries. We have 200 people watching this live. Let's get to 100 entries. And I'm going to just kind of fast forward. I know I'm like so behind. Oh my gosh. By like minutes. Okay, I'm going to go to the very bottom. I know. I'm sorry for everyone that put in their questions. But let's go to the bottom so I can get everyone. Because I'm going too slow, aren't I? I know. I only do this once a year, so I'm like not apt at this. Okay. Charles says, "Do you believe in paranormal universes and alternate universes?" Yes. Yes, I do. Especially when looking at the doppelgangers, I think is a pretty cool idea. Also looking at ghosts, they have to be in their own dimension that's just slightly out of ours. Parallel universes, wouldn't it be so cool? And then it would also assist the time traveler theories that they're able to jump into other timelines, affect those timelines, but not the core timeline. Kind of like in that Loki series, the Loki variant. I think it's called Loki, which great. Loved it, by the way. I think that holds merit. So yes, to your question. If you have questions, go ahead and like put them in now as we're going to end today's show. Put them in all caps. It'll make it really easy. What's your favorite movie? I don't have one right now. I used to have one, but something that I could watch on repeat with no hesitation is a TV show called Father Ted. For all of my diehards, you know what's up. You know how much I like that show. And you can find all of the episodes on YouTube. It's a 1990s, 1980s. I don't know, I can't even remember. Sitcom of Ireland, and it's so funny to me. I love it. So I could watch that on repeat. But for a movie, don't have one right now. All right, let's go. One more entry. Come on, one more entry for hashtag ramen. Let's do this. Do you believe? How X Annihilator says, how do you work so much and not burn out? Who says I don't? With my day-to-day tasks. I do. But for this topic, I love it. I'm so passionate about it, about UFOs and the paranormal, that I can do this all day. Easy. But it's nice to have, a day or two off from time to time and not think about it because let me tell you this. I do not watch UFO documentaries in my free time. I do not do it because that is homework to me, for shows, for my research. But to unwind and relax, you will not see me watching any of those documentaries. Love them, or shows, or whatever. Love them, but I won't do it to relax. Come on, one more entry, guys. One more. Hashtag ramen. Let's see. Mm, 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 mm. Put your questions in all caps, but the super chats are the easiest to see. Val says, do you have a cat? What's its name? I used to have a cat. I used to. I don't have one anymore. I love cats with all of my being. And I've had actually, none of my cats have been very affectionate. So I'd run at it and I'm like, come here and let me love you. And it would just run away every single time. But I had a neighborhood cat once that I loved with all of my heart. His name was Isaac, but I named him at least. And he would always come to me and love on me, and I would feed him. And I would take him home, and he would come in the house with me when I was like 16. So it wasn't really my house, my mom's house. And I let it sleep on the bed with me. And then when it would leave, my white bed sheets would be gray. Disgusting. But I was so infatuated with the cat. I didn't care. Loved him so much. I loved all of my cats, but that one that wasn't mine was my favorite. Most affectionate. Okay, 106 entries. Nice. Let's go ahead and do this drawing. Let's see. Who's gonna be the winner? Ooh. Ooh. Emmanuel. Congratulations. You just won. All I need from you, how do I do this? All I need from you is an email that says that you won. And you can email me in the description box below. You'll find my email, or you can type in Christina at strangeparadigms.com. Once I get that from you, I can send you the link for tomorrow's live get together that you don't want to miss. It's going to be so much fun. I love doing it in April for the very first time. Then we're doing it again, and maybe we'll start doing it twice a year for Patreon. It's going to be pretty cool. I think before we head out, we have, I don't know, we'll give this 7 more minutes, make this a whole hour stream, right? And go ahead and ask your last minute questions that you have in all caps. Preferably, it'll be so much easier to see. And I love all the sportsmanship here of saying congratulations to Emmanuel. Nice. Thank you guys for being so kind. Let's see, a few more. We'll give you a few more moments for some questions. Ooh, Newman. Love this question. What is your favorite ramen flavor currently? Can't go wrong with chicken. Actually, I really like a miso right now. That one's pretty good. And there's only a handful of brands that I'm really enjoying. I don't like Maruchan anymore. My flavor, my palate has become more fancy, and I can afford more than 30-cent ramen, right? So don't love Maruchan anymore. Um, but brands off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you that I know them. But if you show me a picture, I'm like, "Yeah, that's the one. That is the ramen." And it has, like, a fried egg on it, and, like, and noodles, and it has the letter G somewhere in it. I like that ramen. Maybe someone will know what I'm talking about, and you can put it in the comments, in the live chat, because I can't think of the title or the name right here, but I can still see it back here. See what I mean? Don't know the name, but I know what it looks like. Love it. So good. So Dicky says, Christina, can I email you if I didn't win? I want to play trivia tomorrow. So for those that didn't win, you can be a Patreon member for the month. This way you'll get access to all behind the scenes, to footage, to videos, to updates. For the month, it's only $5 or more a month, depending on what tier you want to choose. And it's going to be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss it. But I would say that I recommend that you would join Patreon before this stream is over, before today is over, so I can send over that link to you because you're not gonna find that link for tomorrow anywhere else. Okay? So if you wanna still join in the trivia, still wanna share your experiences, and who knows whatever else you wanna do with us in a very respectful way, of course, you can join Patreon. That link is in the description box below, or you can even type in paradigm shifts on Patreon. But I would say do it by today so you can get that information for tomorrow's stream. Mark, just awesome. Thank you so much. As always, always those little like pop-ups come out of nowhere, but you're here. Thank you for that. Okay, I'll answer two more questions. Two more. Let's see. Um, I'm trying to like do this quickly too, but now I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's okay. It's okay. Let's see. Let's see. Jessica, yes, that link did get sent out to your emails. If you didn't get it, let me know and I can figure that out for you. Okay. That didn't count as a question, by the way. Brian, thank you again. It says, did the shadow person say we've been trying to reach you regarding your car extended warranty? If it did, I didn't capture that, but that was pretty funny. I don't know what that entity whispered in my ear, and I wish I did, but all I could feel was the temperature change in my ear, and that was about it. Okay. Last question. One more. Let's see. I'll go up a little bit. Um, uh, just one more question. Just one more. Nah, I'm like, I gotta like pick one. And I feel bad. Oh, uh, someone that hasn't had a question yet. Okay, Nunu says, have you ever had a flash of perhaps a former life? If I did, I didn't know about it, but I have encountered people that have told me they have received memories from previous lives. All I know is that I have this immense interest in Chinese and Japanese culture, and I have since I was like incredibly young. And my parents, being from Latin America, they're like, we never exposed you to this. How are you interested in it? I don't know. That's kind of all I can say to that. And for my mother, it's always affected her in the sense of always being curious about this, and my father was like, "Yeah, that's so awesome." But for me, it's just my day-to-day life is having an interest in that kind of stuff. And that is all the time that we have for today. I want to say thank you to everyone watching this live for all of the super chats and super stickers. A huge congratulations to Diego and Emmanuel. Please send me that email that you guys won along with your like YouTube name so I know it's from you, right? And your YouTube URL. And then I can send those links on over to you because you want to be present at 11 a.m. PST for the live stream. And Chris, thank you so much for the £3 super chat. That is it for today. I will see you next time. Be safe and remember, keep your eyes on the skies.